Hang there my verse in witness of my love, and thou, thrice-crowned queen of night, survey, with thy chaste eye from thy pale spheres above, thy huntress's name that my full life doth sway. O Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts I'll character, that every eye which in this forest looks shall see thy virtue witnessed everywhere. Run, run, Orlando, carve upon every tree the fair, the chaste, and unexpressive she.
Do you hear, Forester?
Very well. What would you?
I pray you, what is it o'clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There is no clock in the forest.
Then there's no true lover in the forest. Elves, sighing every minute and groaning every hour, would detect the lazy foot of times as well as a clock.
And why not the swift foot of time? Had that not that been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time travels in diverse paces with diverse persons. I'll tell you who time ambles withal, who time trots withal, who time gallops withal, and who he stands still withal.
I prithee, who doth he trot withal?
Mary, he trots hard with a young maid between the contract of her marriage and the day it is solemnized. If the interim be but a 7 night, time's pace is so hard that it seems the length of 7 year.
Who ambles time withal?
With a priest that lacks Latin, and a rich man that hath not the gout. For one sleeps easily, because he cannot study. The other lives merrily, because he feels no pain. The one lacking the burden of lean and wasteful learning, the other knowing no burden of heavy tedious penury. These time amble withal.
Who doth he gallop withal?
With a thief to the gallows, for though he goes as softly as foot can fall, he thinks himself too soon there.
Who stays it still withal?
With lawyers in the vacation, for they sleep between term and term, and then they perceive not how time moves.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With this shepherdess, my sister, here in the skirts of the forest, like fringe upon a petticoat.
Are you a native of this place?
As the coney that you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent is something finer than you could have purchased in so removed a dwelling.
I've been told so of many, but indeed an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who was, in his youth, an inland man, one that knew courtship too well, for there he fell in love. I have heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman, to be touched with so many giddy offences, as he hath generally taxed their whole sex withal.
Can you remember any of the principal evils that he laid to the charge of the women?
There were none principal. They were all like one another, as halfpence are, every one fault seeming monstrous, till his fellow fault came to match it.
I prithee, recount some.
No, I will not cast away my physic with one those that are sick. There is a man haunts the forest that abuses our young plants with carving Rosalind on their barks, hanged us oath upon hawthorns and elegies, on brambles all, forsooth, deifying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the custodian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love shaken. I pray you, tell me your remedy.
There is none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me how to know a man in love, in which cage of rushes, I am sure, you are not a prisoner.
What are his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not. A blue eye, and sunken, which you have not. An unquestionable spirit, which you have not. A beard, neglected, which you have not. But I pardon you for that. Simply your having a beard is a brother's younger revenue. Then your hose should be ungartered, your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements, as loving yourself, then seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I would I could make you believe I love.
Me believe it? You may as soon make her that you love believe it, which I warrant she is apter to do than confess she does. That is one of the points in which women still give the lie to their conscience. But, in good sooth, you are he that hangs the verses on the trees, wherein Rosalind is so admired?
I swear to thee, by the white hand of Rosalind, I am he, that unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness, and I tell you, deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. And the reason why they are not so punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Yet, I profess, curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any so?
Yes, one, and in this manner. He was to imagine me, his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me, at which time would I, being but a moonish youth, grieve, be effeminate, changeable, longing and liking, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow, and constant, full of tears and full of smiles, for every passion something, and for no passion truly anything, as boys and women are for the most part cattle of this color, would now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, now weep for him, then spit at him, that I drave my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world, and to live in a nook, merely monistic, and thus I cured him. And this way will I take upon me to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, that there shall not be one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you, if you would but call me Rosalind, and come every day to my cote and woo me. Go with me to it, and I'll show it you, and by the way, you shall tell me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
Now, by the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
Go with me to it, and I'll show it to you by the way. You shall tell me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind. Come, sister. Will you go?